Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube and the Altcoins Cafe episode 4. This is your host, the Cowboy. Let's take a look today at the altcoins, and we're going to focus on the top 20. And I haven't seen you, in a little bit of time, and since then, the crypto market took a little bit of a dip in here. A little bit scary for some of these alts. Not as bad for some of the others, but I think overall, we were kind of due for this correction. We've had on most of these altcoins a pretty long third wave advance, and now we should be correcting at least for a little bit on here, right? So it's totally normal. It's a kind of a normal cleaning market process, and we go through these cycles and these waves, and let's see where we are. Guys, before we do, you can find me on Telegram. That's where I'm mostly active. This is Elliott Wave Cafe. It's just the main kind of channel where you can find my posts, and then there's also a public chat where you get questions and charts and discussions. You can come on there and talk to us. There's a premium room. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. And then on Twitter, I'm at Elliott Cafe as well. Right, so let's jump over to the charts. I'm going to start a little bit. I think I have about 10 or 11 here into the kind of the large cap coins, anywhere between, let's say, 10 billion and 200 billion in market cap. And then I'm going to go over and take a look at the next 10 from the medium market caps, anything between kind of 2 billion and 10 billion. So I'm going to start with ADA. I'm just kind of taking them in the alphabetical order, so don't think of them as this necessarily being the market cap. But so ADA, I think, reached a very important top here in this wave 3. And if you can count, you can find a nice clean kind of subdivisions in here. And, we hit exactly 161.8 multiple of this wave 1 into this wave 3. So I'm expecting some sort of a fourth wave to be coming next. Now we can play some time fibs in terms of the weight distance this fourth wave travel compared with this wave 2. There's also some fib levels on the downside, anywhere between, let's say, 23% and 38% even, depending on what shape it's going to take. If it's going to take more of a triangle or more of a directional pattern, based on this, we will continue to take a look at the fibs. But I think, even if you're able to make at least one more marginal high in here for a push back up higher, let's say that this sequence, still is not fully complete. You can make a small fourth in here and then another push up higher. I still don't think that the market is ready to, heavily rally into this fifth wave. I think we're going to be in a period of a pause here for a fourth wave into ADA, and then we're going to push back up higher to finish the fifth wave of a larger cycle, and then we'll drop down and have a little bit of a better correction. So this is what I see in ADA. The next one, it's BCH, right? It's in our list here. It's in the top 20 market caps. And although I don't have a lot of data since it's coming from Binance, I'm going to start the count from these lows and look at this as a wave 1 and a wave 2. And then a possible wave 3 completion here at about 1700. I think we're starting some kind of a fourth wave in here, possible triangle, followed by another push up higher here in this fifth. Let me see how far this wave 3 traveled. So we were almost at about 261.8 multiple. So quite a strong move up here as part of this third. So it's normal to expect, a corrective pattern. The size of the sell-off kind of worries me a little bit, because if you're going to get a triangle based on this distance travel, at least in this wave A, you would have a very, very large triangle, and it would start to look disproportionate with this wave second. So I also wouldn't be opposed in putting this third wave back in here at about 1618, pushing the fourth wave, let's say, down into these levels, or maybe a triangle and a fourth in there, and then consider that as a final fifth, something like that, right? Or this fourth in here, right? You can also do a flat, you push your wave 3 a little bit lower, something like that. You have a fourth, you have a flat in this fourth wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5. So this is also fine. We're not coming into the territory of the wave 1. And what this would do actually would tell you that this is actually a wave 1 of the lows, and then you're looking actually for a wave second. So this would be initial decline in an A, you're going to get a B, and then you're going to get a C wave, and then you're going to look to the upside. So both counts are fairly valid. Again, the size of the decline maybe pushes me more into the camp that this is probably better suited for this, but remains to be seen. Either way, I think the trend continues to be to the upside, and if you're going to play some channeling in here, we can kind of take a look and see. Let me just kind of pull it back. We can do something like that, and then just look at this channels and see how they're going to continue to to offer support on the way down. So again, very simple. There could be a very deep second wave in here, and we can be off to the races, or the second wave could continue to form a little bit longer. Right, the next one, it's BNB, and this one also has enjoyed a pretty strong rally. I have this as a 1-2, 1-2, a larger third wave that could be already complete in here. And if you can see 3v1, we pushed just above the 1618, which is at about 241, so we went a little bit higher, and we went to at about 261.8 reverse multiple of the second wave. So if you measure the distance traveled in this third with this wave second, measure from the lows here, this gives you the 714 level, which was tagged prior. It's and it's normal that we can expect some kind of a fourth wave next in here, so possibly a triangle. Again, this was more of a directional, so we can look more of a sideways correction here. If this third wave is not finished just yet, and we're trying to make one more push higher, I'm okay with that as well. Let's say that that's a 1, a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a small triangle in fourth here, one more push up higher, right? So you could be doing something like this, one more push up higher for the third, and then you're going to start the larger fourth wave decline. So either way, I think, again, this move, the meat of the move has already been done. I've talked about this, ever since we were somewhere up into these levels, that this market really doesn't have a lot of strength to move higher, and we should be correcting. There was a pretty strong divergence here as well, as the prices were making new highs. So here we are. Remains to be seen at which degree of trend this is going to happen. The next one I have in here is Dodge, which is a very kind of favorite of a lot of traders. I think it's a similar story where this larger third wave, this one actually went about a 668 reverse multiple of this wave too. And then if I look at it as a 3v1, that's even crazier, right? So you passed over to 618. You almost got into 423%. So somewhere in the middle here is totally fine. Again, it can continue to push if this third wave is not fully over, but I think from the look of this, I think this was a triangle and pushed up higher in this fifth wave. So you can look at this as a 1, 2, let's say 3, 4, and 5, and you're done. 4, and then you're still going to do a fifth wave. So let's see what happens, how long this is going to take. You can do some time fibbing here. Let's go 4v2, and then I'm going to pull this a little bit lower. So you're looking at about 100% distance travel about July 14, and then about August 17 will be 161.8. So there's plenty of room for this fourth wave to unfold and develop over the next, let's say, several months in here into Dodge. That is another one that's a little bit tricky. Very heavy sell-off. We came back all the way here to about $13, $14. Looking at this from these lows, 1, 2, 1, 2, that's third of a third, 4 and 5. That's the top of this, let's say, this primary third wave, and now we're supposed to be doing a fourth. The sell-off has passed 38% of a rise in this third wave, which would be normal for a fourth wave, and we'll see if this is going to become again a triangle or a larger decline. I also have it as a second wave, where this move actually here is a completed pattern. Let's say you would move this third wave in here, this would be your fourth, that's your 5. You're actually done in this primary trend in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now you're actually beginning a second wave decline, and that's the first wave A. That would be your B. You're going to do a C in here, right? Kind of do something like that. That's your corrective pattern in the second wave, and then we're going to rally. So both counts are fairly valid. I know I put this as an alternate, but the more I look at it, since this is such an impulsive move to the downside, I'm trying to kind of be fair to the market and say, yeah, you give me an impulse, then I'm supposed to get a correction, another impulse, and that smells of a second wave. So I'll be patient with that. I think there's plenty of time. I want to see kind of how it resolves from here, and what's the reaction that we're going to get on a bounce higher, and then we'll continue to kind of monitor if it's going to be a fourth or of a second wave. The next one in here is Link. I actually had ICP, but there's not much data here, so there's not much I can do with this guy. So I'll just have to revisit it once we get a little bit of a better picture on it. A Link, it's another one that's pretty tricky because it continues to make higher highs and higher lows. It's in a nice clean channel uptrend. This is a big decline here as part of a possible second wave with another one and another two. I love this pattern because I think this is a very nice clean flat pattern for a second, and then you know, is this the top of the third wave, or if we got to get a little bit higher? I'm not entirely sure. It's a really kind of, you know, unclear count, I would say. You know, you can go 1, 2, 3, larger 4, and then up in 5, you know, for a third. So at the moment, I'm going to go with this and just allow this to be a fourth wave, maybe more of a larger triangle. That's going to take, again, several months by the time it finishes off, something like that, and then push higher in 5. But as long as we're staying within this channel, you know, I'm going to continue to remain bullish Link. I think, you know, it's a nice project, and you know, the charts in here continue to show, you know, good advance and good progression on Link. Then Litecoin, it's another one that had a pretty big sell-off, right, from 400 all the way to almost 100. And it's a little bit of a similar story like we have it in BCH as well. Is this a completed structure to a 1, 2, let's say a 3, a smaller fourth in here, and a fifth wave? You know, when you're actually starting a second wave decline, it's possible. I'm still going to give it a chance of it being a fourth, trying to see if we can form a triangle in here and then a push back up higher. As you guys see, we're not going to get a return to a bullish market right away. I think this was a pretty big technical damage in a lot of the alts, and you know, most of them will probably continue to move sideways for a while until maybe Bitcoin gains a little bit of dominance, and these are kind of digesting the sell-off and continuing to kind of move in on a fourth wave or a second wave decline. So it's a similar story that I'm kind of looking at in Litecoin as well. Okay, Matic in here, it's another one. This looks a little bit better, seems a little bit stronger, and I'm looking at it as having it as a 1, 2, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequence for a larger third wave primary. Now we're doing a fourth wave in here. So, you know, even though it's a little bit stronger, the sell-off wasn't that aggressive and as it was in some of the other ones. So maybe, you know, we're starting a fourth wave in here and kind of going and looking at the 4-day chart. This would be the normal direction. I'm going to put a time fib in here as well. So I'm going to go 4v2 so you can see. Hey guys, if you want to use the you know, the Motivate software, which has a lot of these things already pre-done, and you don't have to, you know, kind of go crazy in TradingView, you know, give this software a trial. There's a link below this video for the Motivate trial, so you might be able to get a discount on there as well. So just kind of get on it and give it a try. It's really cool because all of these counts are kind of you know, easier to make, quicker. You can hit like hotkeys and get you know, time analysis and fib projections and corrections and stuff like that. So, and one of them is this kind of time fib as well. So you can see back here in July 6th, we would travel about 61% distance in the second wave. In the fourth wave compared with the second, then you would have 100% around August 6th. So there's still plenty of time here, maybe, you know, a couple of months, June and July, of sideways price action in some of these odds. So let's continue to watch that. All right, Uniswap in here, it's a similar story, you know, where we're doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, complete this larger primary third. This kind of tricks me a little bit in this being a 1 and a 2. You know, and see, that would not be legal, because unless this candle here is something wrong into the software, if the top of this wave 1, it's at about 849, then we're fine here in a fourth, because we never really entered the area of the wave 2. So, you know, I'll continue to kind of watch it as a fourth, but if I need to, I have to be prepared for this to be a second as well. So let's see kind of how we correct. This looks like an impulse of the highs in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we will get an ABC and then another decline lower. So that's kind of what I see on Uni here near term. And then XRP looks, you know, a little bit better, a little bit more interesting in a 1, 2, 1, 2 formation. Let me go to a 2-day chart. So we'll move off the slows in here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure if this third wave is smaller than 1. It could be, in which case that could be wrong, or we're having more of an expanding diagonal here in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For the 1, pull back here in the second, right into the 618, and then another rally here in a wave 1, followed by a second wave into the 50%. 1, 2, 3, triangle 4. Up in 1, we're retesting the breakout lines in here to a 3-wave decline. Pretty clean as a second wave, if you ask me. So let's see how we continue to develop. But if this holds, and we're starting to see the prices kind of rise and continue to climb above 174, this wave 2 will be pretty much done, and we're going to look higher in this larger third wave. All right, time to move on from these, let's say, these large caps to more of a medium cap. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe and like this channel, right? We wanted to be able to continue to rise into the YouTube rankings in there, and it's important. I really appreciate you watching and subscribing to the channel. So, let's take a pause here, have some coffee, subscribe and like the video, and we'll continue to move over to some of these other ones. And these are our mid caps in here. Let's start by taking a look at Aave. And this formation in here, this kind of triangle, I think it's a barrier triangle. It's kind of very awkward. You can also count it as a, maybe a complex sided correction, some kind of a W, X, Y, X, Z. It doesn't matter. I think the idea is that we're kind of climbing out of here in this fifth wave. This is possibly, the finish of this kind of cycle in this wave one. And we're possibly kind of getting now into this second wave decline. This is just wave A. Because this has been such a large, such a large of a correction, I'm gonna have to kind of match it up with the second wave into these levels, and this tells me that this sequence here is possibly complete, right? And that's why I'm looking at it as a wave one. And now we're getting a nice impulse of the highs to the lows in here, then a B wave, and then a second wave to complete the second. This can take several forms. Again, it could be for over the next several months until we're gonna find a low here in this Aave. Let's take a look at the next one, and I have EOS in alphabetical order. This one also kind of gives me a little bit of a trouble in terms of counting it, because it has this kind of rising but overlapping structure. It looked much better on the breakout, and then the moment you sold off in here, it kind of killed that momentum. But I still think I can count it as a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and 5. Again, some kind of a diagonal in here. If you measure this wave 3, it's just almost equal with this wave 1. You could assume that, again, this is some kind of an expanding, since this fifth wave is a little bit longer. And then, you could just kind of say, yeah, that's fine. This third wave, since it's so close in size with the wave 1, we could allow it. And then this is a leading diagonal, let's say, in a wave 1, completes that. Comes back in the second into the 618 for the second. This could be just A of a second wave, still do a B, and then do another C. So I'm not necessarily rushing to necessarily embark now in the next bullish market into the alts. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I'm keeps kind of sending this message that because we've done a bunch of technical damage in here from these highs, it could take a while to kind of resolve all of that. Let's take a look at Ethereum Classic, again, with just a crazy rise here from $5 all the way to 180 almost. But the fact that on Ethereum Classic I don't have a larger fourth wave, I gotta allow for that to happen rather than to consider this a wave 1 of these lows. All right, so I'm going to go with the idea that that's possibly a fourth wave information followed by a fifth. Then we'll reach a wave 1 top, then a second wave decline on Ethereum Classic. Then I look at the Filecoin, which is the next one on the list in here. And, this also had a very, very sharp drop. You came from 240 all the way down here to about 50. And I got to consider this a second wave because, the move of the lows here seems nice in a 1, 2. Very nice clean impulse in this third, 4, and an extended fifth wave for a wave 1. So that's your 1. Now you're pulling back here in this larger ABC decline. So just a clean zigzag for now. If we're getting another wave lower, it could turn into a 5-wave decline followed by a B and then another C. So there could be some wood to chop in here as well, since we've sold off, so aggressively. But building a position up into these levels and, being willing to wait, let's say a few months, I think that's totally fine as well. Let's see here. Next, after Filecoin, I have Sol. And this is another one that I think it had a pretty strong rally, right? From, let's say you went from $1 to $60 in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're beginning the second wave decline. Let me do a fib on here. So as a pullback, we've pulled back only about 23%. We might get another push up higher in a B, then a C, maybe then a W. So there's plenty of time to correct this move lower. Could come all the way back here to a fourth wave of this lesser degree near $12 before it's all over in Sol. So let's continue to watch that. Then I have Theta on the list as well. This one, again, just because of the nature of this rise, I'm not ready to call the sequence complete. I wouldn't have a clean place to put a fourth wave. unless I do it back in here. So I have to take this third, push it in here, do a small fourth and a fifth, and then a second wave decline. But this is pretty clean in terms of the fib, because you got a 1, 2, 3 into the 1, 6, 1, 8. So let's see if we can do a 4 and then a push up higher here in this fifth. On theta, TRX, it's another one that looks fairly interesting. It's you know, since this wave 1 in here, it's almost equal with this prior wave 1. I'm looking at it as a 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't think it's an ABC, and then we're crashing lower. So I'll watch this channel, which if I adjust it is looking something like this, right? And you know, I'm looking for these kind of prices to hold back into the 618 and see if we can kind of turn back and get a rally out of this, right? And the moment you kind of break below this and you move towards 78.6, that's going to be problematic for the second wave, and then we will have to kind of switch and go back to the drawing board. But for right now, this is my preferred pattern on TRX. And then you have VAT in here, which is in a 1, 2, nothing super large here in terms of account just yet. So now that I look at it, I don't think that this is a fourth wave, because it's way too deep compared with the second. So I almost want to do, I kind of wanted to allow this to move higher towards the 161.8, just to have enough room for a fourth wave decline in here. But if I delete this and I move this third wave here, right, you're still going to get maybe a triangle here in this fourth. So this will be kind of my next to go. Maybe this is better. 1, 2, 3, triangle, 4 in here, and then a push up higher in fifth. And then maybe get a different pullback in an ABC after that. All right, let me save this up. And then we're looking at the next one. It's Stellar on our list, which it had also a pretty good rise in here in a 1, 2, larger third wave, tagged the 1, 6, 1, 8, and now we're starting a fourth wave decline as well. Let's see if we can get a triangle in here as well. So you can see a bunch of them kind of look very, very similar in terms of their structure. It's either a fourth wave or a second. If this is, if this is all I'm getting, let's say, and that's it's an ending angle in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I have to move this third wave back in here, this would be your fourth, right? Like that, just a short fourth wave. But see, it doesn't look good compared with the second. So I'm going to go with the prior one. Just kind of leave it like that and see if we can get a fourth in here in a triangle, and then I push up higher in this fifth. The next one here, it's XMR. We're running out of time, so I got to kind of close this up. I think this is the last one. Big sell-off in XMR as well, from 520 all the way to about 120. So huge decline. I have to consider it a second wave, because there's nothing in the sequence that even remotely kind of matches what I'm getting up into these levels. So either this is just wave A over second, or the entire of the second wave. I think we're going to get some chop here in XMR for guys. Thanks for watching. Come and visit us into the Pro Room. Elliott Wave Cafe has a 7-day free trial. This is what you're getting if you're subscribing. So come and visit us. There is a lot of things where we talk about macro and Bitcoin and shorter term counts and altcoins, and there's a lot of information there. Again, please subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you at the end of this week here for Bitcoin and Ethereum technical analysis. And until then, have a nice day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.